This is Valley View News.
It's like a train, like a loud train. I said, this isn't right.
It's gone. I don't know where it went.
The death toll continues to rise after a powerful storm struck parts of the Midwest.
It's on the ground.
I'm always amazed and flattered and honored to have our community come out.
An organization in Burbank honors soldiers through an act of kindness.
I really loved writing.
Aspiring journalists from high schools learn and compete during an event at Cal State Northridge.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Valley View News. I'm Nenora Corey.
And I'm Camilla Rambaldi. The death toll from the Midwest tornadoes has climbed to 8. Powerful winds and heavy rain hit areas in 3 states. The worst damage is said to be in Illinois, where 6 people have died. Hundreds of thousands of people were left without power and hundreds of homes were destroyed. One tornado that struck Washington County in Illinois left a path of debris that stretched more than 3 miles. Officials in Missouri and Indiana are also struggling with storm damage. In Michigan, more than 240,000 customers had no power. The bulk of the storm has moved offshore into the Atlantic Ocean. Damaging wind gusts are still possible for parts of the Northeast.
The Philippines is still recovering from the typhoon that killed thousands, but corruption could be an obstacle to receiving aid. The hurricane that tore through the Philippines on November 8th killed almost 4,000 people and displaced millions. People from around the world are donating as much money as possible, but corruption has plagued the Philippines for decades. More than $270 million have been donated so far, and the president has pledged that the government will ensure aid is distributed properly. Energy Secretary Jericho Padilla says that he will restore power in the battered regions by December 24th by erecting 160 power transmission towers and thousands of electrical posts. The country is feeding 1.5 million people every day, and the aid effort remains difficult.
With the latest natural disasters in the Midwest and in the Philippines, Valley View News reporters talked to Cal State Northridge students to find out how prepared they would be for a future emergency.
I'm not really prepared. I haven't really taken the necessary precautions.
Mentally, I'm not prepared at all, but I feel like at home I would probably be more prepared with my family and everything. We would know how to take care of each other and have our support system there.
Looking at all the disasters that are happening, it made me realize that I'm not really prepared. I do have an emergency kit, I have water and things like that, but honestly, if something were to hit, like a tornado or something over here, which is very unlikely, but even an earthquake over here, I don't think I'd be as prepared as I should be.
I have a firearm and a pair of glasses that I plan on taking with me, and a backpack. That's about it.
Yeah, I have a bunch of water and canned food at home.
I'm honestly not really prepared at all. It's something you don't really think about. It doesn't really happen every day. And we haven't had an enormous earthquake here in, a decade or two. So it's not something that I do really think about. But now that you bring it up, I should definitely have something prepared. My parents have a box and it has a bunch of canned foods and first aid box and all that fun stuff in it. So I should probably look into that.
Yeah, I'm still new to California, so I've never really tried to prepare for an earthquake. So
I don't think I'll be prepared at all. Stuff just comes from out of nowhere, and it's how do you really know when it's gonna come? So my family, we don't really store up water or food or anything, or have a backup plan just in case if it would happen.
A CSUN student is being charged with filing a false police report after telling Campus PD she was sexually assaulted in student housing. Valley View News reporter Jay Jenkins has more on the story.
The latest report involved a female student waking up to a man touching her bare leg in her apartment. 19-year-old Jenny Martinez told police an unidentified man broke into her apartment on the 3rd floor of Building 9, touched her leg, and fled with a box full of important documents. A campus-wide alert was issued via email with a brief description of what happened and what the suspect looked like. Further questioning revealed Martinez may have fabricated the story while being on medication for an ear infection. She stated, "They are just accusing me of this not making sense. I know it's not making sense. It's not making sense to me either how this happened." After hearing the incident, students took extra caution when walking to and from campus.
I started carrying pepper spray and just being more aware of my surroundings, I guess, just what's going on.
Planning on taking a self-defense class eventually.
My girlfriend, I make sure that I walk her home all the time, and I make sure that she's safe before she gets home.
With the investigation concluding with no actual crime had been committed, the LA City Attorney's Office charged Martinez with filing a false police report. Filing a false police report is a misdemeanor that can result in a penalty ranging from paying a $1,000 fine to a year in county jail. Students expressed their reaction upon learning the updated information.
It's completely dumb that because there are so many different issues here on campus and just the CSU system-wide as a whole, like there's different students facing hate crimes, discrimination, sexual harassment, and so many different issues that to make something up and use students' funds that pay for these police officers or Maryland Patrol, it's kind of not really intelligent and it's a waste of time.
Really, my concerns go out to the girl because I feel like there must be some form of attention seeking or such things, you know what I mean? And so I just hope that everything's all right with her, and I hope that she learns from this and it'll be a learning experience and she never make a decision like that again.
I'm not sure if this person knows the impact they've made just by spreading this story, because I'm sure all of CSUN's community outside and nearby have taken extra precautions and have to reevaluate their overall security in their neighborhood.
CSUN officials have not provided any information regarding Martinez's future at the university. More information is still to come. In Northridge, I'm Jade Jenkins for Valley View News.
A mine accident in Colorado has killed 2 miners and injured 19 others. Investigators are looking into whether a blast may have played a role at Revenue Virginia's mine. The 2 miners who died suffered carbon monoxide poisoning. 19 other miners were taken to area hospitals, but only 4 were admitted. They were listed in fair condition. Others are trying to determine the exact cause of the accident.
An explosion and mine collapse have been ruled out as the cause of the incident by the Ouray County Sheriff's Office.
Federal mining regulators will investigate. The source of the gas was not immediately known.
A study has found that teenagers were more likely to consider committing suicide if they had a family member sent on multiple military deployments. Students surveyed by USC were 7% more likely to consider suicide than their peers if their parent had been sent overseas more than once. The study says the recent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan have taken a heavy toll on teenagers' mental health. They found that drug and alcohol use increased in teens with recently deployed parents.
Some people in Burbank are showing their appreciation for deployed men and women in the armed forces. Valley View News reporter Daisy Merida has the story.
Volunteers came together to participate in the 3rd annual Thank a Soldier event. The event was hosted by the Keller Williams Realty in the city of Burbank. An assembly line helped the community reach their goal of creating 1,000 care packages for our troops.
For an hour and a half we've been packing, and I'm always amazed and flattered and honored to have our community come out this way and support us. It's heartwarming, it's touching, and it shows just how much Americans care about their freedoms and the men and women who protect that.
These boxes were filled with donated goods as a way of showing appreciation and brightening up a soldier's day.
And for a combat soldier like me, getting care packages like these are like the best things to get, especially on a down day when we're all like somewhat depressed or sad. Getting something that can enlighten our spirits is a great thing.
It's the simple things they ask for, such as socks, books, and beef jerky. People were encouraged to write thoughtful letters filled with thank yous and motivation to send to our soldiers.
It's nice to see everyone getting together and doing something good for troops overseas that can't, be with people at home and stuff, so that's really nice.
Volunteers were able to personalize their care packages by including a picture of themselves. The event featured a free community barbecue and live music.
Thank a Soldier is a way for our community to come together and show our troops that we truly care, just as much as they care for us. This is Daisy Merida reporting for Valley View News, Northridge.
32 people were killed in Tripoli, Libya after militant forces opened fire on unarmed protesters. A health ministry official says 391 people had been injured. The protest was fueled by public anger over recent fighting between a local militia and fighters from the city of Misrata. Libyan citizens have tried to break up the militia with protests that provoke violent responses. Libya's Prime Minister Ali Zidane has demanded the exit of armed groups.
Ugandan Mayor Erias Lukwago has been arrested after being charged with abuse of office. His arrest came after he allegedly disobeyed orders given to him to cancel a public rally. The rally members were supporters of Mayor Lukwago, but were ordered to stop because they did not have legal requirements to hold the event. Lukwago says the arrest is a plot by Ugandan president to kick him out of the office. Coming up in sports, the Kansas City Chiefs are no longer undefeated. Jimmy Johnson has won another title, and Kobe Bryant is working on his return to the Lakers. Stay with us.
Look at these boots.
Man, those are nice. You should buy them.
Half the price of the real thing. Do you want them?
The production and sale of counterfeit goods cause more harm than meets the eye.
Get to work!
And the profits can fund organized crime.
So, do you want them?
Buying counterfeit products?
No way.
It's just not worth it.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything...
It is I, Grooves Zinkerpel. Okay, time for cake.
It's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Some libraries in the LA Unified School District have been struggling to add librarians. Valley View News reporter Hector Mejia was in Mar Vista to see how a local school was adapting to the problems.
Grandview Boulevard Elementary School in Mar Vista has a library dedicated to its first principal. Many students here enjoy story time and love to read. But essential elements have been missing at many LA Unified School District libraries for at least 3 years now.
We have no librarian. We don't even have a library aide.
There's not a single elementary school with a teacher librarian at LAUSD. The district used to fund library personnel, but now elementary schools have to find the money in their budget for a library aide. That's if they can afford it.
But even though there's books and parents willing to volunteer their time, there's restrictions on what they can do because of LAUSD guidelines.
We can come in with our children's class, so we would be able to come in for that half hour, but then we would have to leave with that class.
Part of it is California Education Code, where you cannot supplant a position. And part of it is union contracts. Part of it is also in terms of the teacher librarians. It goes to the California Teacher Credentialing Commission on who can be in the library.
I'm not sure where everything gets shelved, or, it's hard to help a group of 22 kids try and find the right book.
It's unclear how many elementary schools actually have a library aide. In 2012, voters approved Proposition 30 to fund education by temporarily raising taxes.
How is it that their priorities is suddenly buying a new iPad for every student?
LAUSD's response: iPads were purchased with bond money that cannot be used for teacher salaries. But for now, teachers and parents are thinking creatively to promote reading.
We're going to set up a gypsy tent outside on the grass area.
In Mar Vista, Hector Mejia, Valley View News.
So, Ryan, would you have predicted the Chiefs to be doing so well this season?
No way. Not after only winning 2 games last season.
But they met their match with the Broncos, though.
Oh, yeah, they did. It was a great game. The Kansas City Chiefs were handed their first loss of the season against the Denver Broncos. The Chiefs had back-to-back fumbles to give the Broncos momentum. Peyton Manning had a 70-yard pass in the second quarter to Julius Thomas. This led to a Broncos touchdown and a 10-0 lead. Manning threw for 323 yards. The Broncos' Monte Ball rushed for touchdowns in the second and third quarter. The Broncos went on to beat the Chiefs 27-17. NFL Special Investigator Ted Wells will begin looking into the Miami Dolphins harassment case involving Jonathan Martin and Richie Incognito. Wells will be interviewing players over the course of several days. This comes after Martin abruptly left the team 3 weeks ago, alleging that he was bullied and harassed by Incognito. The Dolphins are now 5-5 after a win over the San Diego Chargers in Week 11 and still remain in the hunt for an AFC wildcard berth. The San Francisco 49ers had a 20-17 lead over the New Orleans Saints with just over 3 minutes remaining in the game. The Saints had a 3rd and 2 on the 49ers' 35-yard line. 49ers Ahmad Brooks rushed Saints quarterback Drew Brees. Brooks hit Brees somewhere near the head, dislodging the ball and giving the 49ers the fumble recovery. But the referees threw a flag and gave a 15-yard roughing the passer penalty against Brooks. This gave the Saints the opportunity to tie the game. The Saints went on to score a last-second field goal to get a 23-20 victory. Indianapolis Colts linebacker Eric Walden has received a 1-game suspension after headbutting Delaney Walker of the Tennessee Titans. It came in the second quarter after Walker blocked Walden during a running play. Walden ripped off Walker's helmet and headbutted his chin after the two argued on the field. No flag was thrown in the game, and Walden will be out of the Colts lineup during Week 12 unless he appeals the suspension and fine. The USC Trojans had an upset victory 20-17 over the number 4 ranked Stanford Cardinal. This gives the Trojans 5 out of 6 wins under interim coach Ed Orgeron. The Trojans defense had 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter. The win came on a 47-yard field goal from Trojans kicker Andre Hidari with 19 seconds left in the game. The stands emptied out onto the field as the clock ran out to celebrate the victory. Jimmy Johnson has clinched the NASCAR Sprint Cup title. His 9th place finish at Homestead Miami Speedway was enough for him to capture his 6th title in the past 8 years. At 38 years old, Johnson is the youngest driver ever to win 6 titles and trails NASCAR legend Dale Inman's record of 8 championships by 2. Denny Hamlin finished in first place at Homestead, and Matt Kenseth finished 2nd overall in the Sprint Cup standings. A-Rod and his team of lawyers have begun their preliminary defense in his case of PED use. The case could be the biggest yet of performance-enhancing drugs in the MLB. A-Rod could have a possible 211-game suspension if found guilty. A clinic of performance-enhancing drugs, Biogenesis, will be the center of the Rodriguez case. MLB wants to obtain patient records, billing receipts, and documents from Biogenesis that could outline the allegations. A-Rod is seeking help from a number of witnesses, including Baseball Commissioner Bud Selig and Yankees President Randy Levine. The LA Kings have completed their road trip with a 1-0 win over the New York Rangers. Kings backup goalie Ben Scrivens had 37 saves in his 2nd consecutive shutout. Tyler Toffoli scored the only goal of the game about a minute and a half into the second period. The Rangers failed to connect on a shot despite having 2 5-on-3 power plays. Rangers' Dominic Moore thought he tied the game with 2:41 remaining, but his goal was called back because he kicked it in. The Kings will now begin a 3-game homestand. The LA Lakers beat the Detroit Pistons 114-99. Laker Jordan Hill had a career-high 24 points and 17 rebounds. Jody Meeks and Nick Young added 19 points apiece to help the Lakers to victory. The Lakers scored 16 straight points from the 3rd to 4th quarter. They also stopped the Pistons from scoring for over 5 minutes. The Lakers will now have 4 days to rest before their next game. Kobe Bryant has returned to practicing with the Los Angeles Lakers, but there is no set date that the Lakers star will be back in action playing games. Bryant has participated in shooting drills for practice, but not in game preparation. Lakers coach Mike D'Antoni says he does not know how many practices Bryant will need before he will be game ready. And that's all we have for the latest in sports. Now back to you, Camilla.
Coming up next in entertainment, a Los Angeles Media and Arts Center is helping students get into Hollywood. Plus, a pop star would go on a world tour. Stay tuned.
Can't let him make it.
Dude, you better not be illegally downloading movies again. I don't want a virus on my computer. Seriously.
Yes!
Got it.
We got it. What an idiot.
When you rip off copyrighted material, someone could be ripping you off.
Where's my money?
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
So Jay, tell me about this new media center that's opened.
I hear it's a great opportunity for low-income families to get into Hollywood. An arts and media center in San Fernando called the Los Angeles Youth Opportunity Movement is helping students from low-income families with getting involved in the entertainment industry as actors, producers, and even directors. Valley View News reporter Camilla Rambaldi has more on the story.
Boxing and dancing. These are just some of the activities students can do here at the Los Angeles Youth Opportunity Movement Center.
It's really fun, you know, you just come in, everyone's really friendly.
These indoor facilities here at Leon Media are not only used for students to train on, but even as a movie set.
Vice President of Leon's acting program, Leo Montiel, has been producing movies here for the past 6 years using these sets and allowing students to act in the films.
And if they have an interest in directing, acting, producing, editing, whatever it is within the industry, we want to help them out. So our motto is from a corner in the valley to Hollywood.
Leon Media offers students ages 13 to 21 hands-on experience with film production, all for free.
There's the chance to actually work with the equipment here. And since I want to be an actress, you actually do films here.
Montiel also says the program's main goal is to help students from low-income families reach their dreams.
The future is endless. You know, as long as the kids keep coming and we're still delivering, then it's always going to be here. Our next film is Auxilio, and that's what we want to produce next.
Leon director Q Carter says the program is more than just a film school.
You're coming to explore things that you one day hopefully one day will be your dreams, your career. And because of that, there's a little bit more of a personal interest in that.
In San Fernando, this is Camilla Rambaldi for Valley View News.
Hollywood honored 4 stars at the Governor's Award ceremony. Angelina Jolie received the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award. The actress thanks her late mother for inspiring her to make a difference in the world. The same award was given to Oprah and Paul Newman in the past. Steve Martin, Angela Lansbury, and costume designer Piero Tosi received career-honoring Oscars as well. Tom Hanks and Martin Short presented the award to Steve Martin, who became emotional during his acceptance speech. Katy Perry has announced her next world tour. Perry is taking her new album, Prism, on the road, announcing a world tour that will kick off in the UK on May 7th. The pop star will perform at several UK arenas before moving on to other dates around the globe on what is expected to be a year-long tour. Icona Pop will join Perry on the UK dates. Perry promised on Twitter that more global tour dates would be announced soon and noted that tickets will go on sale on November 22nd. Local high school students interested in journalism got the opportunity to compete in various competitions and attend workshops at CSUN. Nor Corey has more on the story.
The journalism department at Cal State Northridge played host to this year's High School Generation J Day. One student from Venice High School was introduced to journalism at a young age.
I got interested in journalism my middle school year when I got put in the class. At first I didn't know what journalism is, and I got attached to the class. I really loved writing.
Nearly 20 high schools across Southern California were invited to compete in writing competitions and attend workshops. Students had a choice either to compete in news writing, feature writing, photojournalism, or opinion writing. They had 1 hour to write their articles and gather their material. Some students in the feature writing competition chose to interview each other for their articles.
The competitions are always a draw. The kids like to compete. Winning at one of these looks good on their college transcript, their high school transcripts, rather, their college applications, and kind of gets them ready for the spring competitions, the regional and state competitions.
Elizabeth Martinez led the event with help from Department Chair Linda Bowen. Representatives from Press Photographers Association of Greater LA, David Fernandez and Gerard Burkhardt, spoke with students interested in photography and held a workshop in the Photo Lab.
CSUN has always had a journalism day for the high school students, and we've teamed up to give something
to the advisors, some sessions about how to teach journalism better, some InDesign tips and tricks, and how to keep your program alive.
CSUN graduate student Chris Wilson led a workshop for students interested in television and radio. He answered questions and shared his personal success in television at KSTP in Minneapolis. In Northridge, I'm Nenora Corey, Valley View News.
An alternate ending to the Breaking Bad hit series was leaked on YouTube. Shortly after, Sony Pictures took it off the website because of violation of copyright laws. The alternate ending repictures the series' last scene as a dream of Hal from the Fox sitcom Malcolm in the Middle, which was acted by Bryan Cranston. Lifetime is canceling their hit show Army Wives after 7 seasons. The cable network's longest-running series will end with a 2-hour showcase set for next year. Lifetime General Manager Rob Chernow said the series has brilliantly captured the challenges U.S. military families endure and the bravery they and their loved ones display. Season 7 averaged 2.5 million viewers, down from Season 6's 3.2 million. The network will still have the drama Witches of East End that premiered this fall, as well as a second season of Devious Maids set for next year. Now let's take a look at the movie that topped the weekend box office.
Thor, your bravery will not ease your pain. Your family, your world will be extinguished.
Thor in the Dark World remains #1 in the domestic box office for the second week in a row. The mythical hero hammered through by bringing in $38.5 million this weekend. This brings the film's overall income to $147 million so far. The movie is on track to surpass the first adaptation of Thor's box office earnings. Movie analysts predict Thor's The Dark World will earn more than $700 million worldwide. Taye Diggs and Nia Long's The Best Man Holiday came in second place, bringing in a total of $30.6 million in their weekend debut. A college is changing the name of its communication school to honor fake reporter Ron Burgundy of the movie Anchorman. Emerson College will rename the school the Ron Burgundy School of Communication to honor the fictitious television anchorman. Actor Will Ferrell, who will be in character, is scheduled to share his path to journalism greatness with students. His visit includes a news conference, the renaming ceremony, and a screening of Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. Burgundy says he hopes to let students know how hard it is to make it to the top, in his words, especially if you don't have good hair. Google and Microsoft are working together to reduce child pornography from the internet. They have been using some of the latest picture detection technology to take down images and videos. Google has also cleaned out search results for more than 100,000 web queries related to child porn. This move came into effect after the arrest of more than 300 people connected to an international child abuse investigation. Some of the people arrested included 40 teachers, 6 law enforcement personnel, and 9 priests. That's all for entertainment news. Now back to you.
That wraps up this edition of Valley View News. I'm Nenora Corey.
And I'm Camille Rambaldi. Thanks for watching.